So for this little project, I'm going to make some new knobs for my PRS guitar. So it has just a standard plastic knobs on it, as you can see, but I'm just going to use a piece of brass and remake them. I thought it'd be a nice little project to do. The guitar itself does have some brass on it already, or at least gold colour. So I'm hoping I can sort of finish off with a couple of brass knobs as well, just to make it look nice. Purely for practice, again, it's nice to have these little projects that you can really get stuck in and try and learn something. So let's take a closer look at what I'm doing. So first of all, as you can see here, this is the knob from the PRS. Slightly indented in the middle there. The hole is just over 6 mil. Well, let's take a look at the dimensions. So the overall size of it is actually 25.4 mil. So they obviously formed this out of a 1-inch piece of plastic. A couple of the other things. So it actually goes in slightly, as you can see. So the slightly smaller diameter is 22 millimeters on here. And internally, I've also got the dimensions set in there. So the actual hole inside is just over 6 mil. It's because it's just a push-on knob. So there are ridges on the pin that this pushes onto. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a grub screw inside the brass. So once I've made it, I'll put a grub screw through there. Looking at some sizes, what I've decided to do is I'm going to use an M4 grub screw, an M4 thread. So that's 4 millimeters. And for that, you need a 3.3 millimeter drill bit to get in there. So I've got those grub screws available. I've got the drill bit available. So primarily what I want to do is I want to be able to make the two knobs in one go. So I'll clamp this once, I'll create one forming, then I'll drill the hole in, part it off, and then I'll create the second one and do exactly the same process. So my outer diameter will be slightly under 25.4 because this is obviously a 1-inch piece of brass, so I'm going to skim it just to shine it up a bit. But the dimensions don't have to be absolutely bang on. Again, this is something, as long as I'm within a couple of tenths of a millimeter, that should be more than fine for this. It's just purely a practice exercise. The main thing I want to get out of it is obviously a very shiny, nice looking brass knob that will suit the guitar and look good on there and accent some of the other brass components. So all looking good. Using these dimensions, let's jump on the lathe now and get stuck in. So the first operation is just to skim this off, make it look nice, face it off, and then we'll start the dimensions and cutting in. Next job, just going to put a centre in and then I'll drill the hole through. So let's do that now. .5 millimeter drill bit. I need to go about 11 millimeters into it for the first knob. So I'm just going to take the measurement from the tailstock measuring guide. So let's do that now. The knobs are about 14.5 millimeters high. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a mark on this so I know the rough dimensions on where the first one's supposed to end. So let's do that. So as you can see, I've got a nice mark for the 14.5 millimeters. So what I can do now is I can come in with the angled 45-degree tool, and I can take that down a bit to make the lip. If you remember, there's a small lip and it's actually 22 millimeters, and I can take it across to about 22 mil using that. Actually, just before I do that, I'm just going to use the parting tool to put a bigger mark where that is, just so I know exactly where it's supposed to be. Right, just going to take this down to 22 mil and leave a lip on there. 22.07, that will do perfectly, pleased with that. So what I want to do next is I think I'm actually going to try and knurl this section. So what I'll need to do, just to try and get the knurling tool in there, is I'll put a centre in first just to make sure it's firmly supported. So let's give that a go. There should be enough room to get my knurling tool up to that edge. So let's try that now. What I've also done is I've plunged this 45° in just to put a chamfer on this top edge as well, because I don't want to have to put it back in the machine to do that later. So I can do it now and hopefully part it off and polish it, and it should look all right. So let's do that now. So as it turns out, my knurling tool, the clearance between that lip is just, oh, it's so close. I'm wondering if I can get enough pressure. The lip of the knob is actually touching the support of the knurling roller. So I think I have a fraction to play with. So all I can do is give it a go and hope it works. So let's try that now. So I only seem to have room to knurl the edge of it without changing the setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knurl half of the knob, but I'm thinking that actually might look pretty good. So rather than all knurl, just to only knurl half of it. So let's see what that looks like. Let's do that now. Okay, so I hope you can see that, but that looks pretty good to me. I like that. So I've just managed to get into the edge up to the cut mark. The knurling looks good. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So the next job now is I just need to hollow out this inside a bit by 3 mils. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. Probably going to plunge maybe the 45° in there just to hollow this out inside. So let's do that now. So I'm pretty pleased with that. So the last job, I'm just going to part this off now. This is almost complete. The final job will be to put the little grub screw in there to hold it onto the pot. So let's part this off and move on to the next step. The completed knob. I'm really happy on how this has turned out. What I'm going to do now is just buff it up on the polisher, and then, well, actually first of all I need to put the grub screw in, so let's do that first. So hopefully you can see that okay. I've just got it in a clamp. It's a 3.3mm drill, because that's what you use to make an M4 4mm thread. So let's put that in now. Right, let's put the tap in now. Right, I've got the grub screw, so let's just try and put this in, make sure that thread has gone in properly. As you can see, that has worked perfectly. Job done. So all that's left to do is I'll make the second one now, and then we'll finish off this video and we'll put them on the guitar. So I'm really pleased how these have turned out. They're looking quite shiny. I've given them a polish up, tried to get rid of most of the lines from the lathe. They're looking pretty good. The tap and grub screw went in really well. So hopefully I'll give you a closer look here. So hopefully you can see that okay. But they're looking really good. I'm really pleased with them. So what I might do is I might manufacture a few of them, put them in boxes and see if I can sell them just to keep the channel going. So that's something I'm going to think about now. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I'm going to put these on the guitar now and I'll give you a couple of before and after pictures just to finish the video. So I will see you on the next build. Cheers.